Here with Alex Bazzell, skills trainer to many NBA players, WNBA players, people at all levels of the game, and also the co-founder of Through the Lens, a new network where you can access the expertise of different people in the basketball industry. And so, Alex, just wanted to start there. Can you talk to us a little bit about Through the Lens? Carmelo Anthony is a co-founder. What do you guys hope to do, and how has it gone so far?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was fortunate enough to have over the course of the last 6 years working with NBA, WNBA talent. I grew very close with Kobe Bryant, Kyrie, Melo, Candace Parker, the list goes on. So I was fortunate enough to be in these rooms and have this level of access and just learn and not necessarily, of course there's a level of teaching that goes involved, but a lot of it is trying to also know when to shut up and listen. And we wanted to create something that the masses could essentially be in those rooms and access that level of knowledge. And that was the thesis of why we built it, to go along with creating a platform for young girls to have athletes, role models that they look like and talk like and move like that they aspire to be as well. So that was kind of the foundation of why we built what we built.
And one piece of content that we've seen recently is The Journey, which is a series about the pre-draft process. What did you want to show there?
We wanted to show more of an organic pre-draft experience. I think that we've seen shows in the past that try to highlight everyone and make it seem like this is this incredible time of the year, which is great because they are fulfilling their dreams, but at the same time, it's a stressful time period. This is the first time where a lot of these athletes, they haven't been able to choose their outcome, right? You go to high school, you choose your AAU team, you choose where you go to college, right? All these things are kind of handed to you being a top recruit. Now everything's out of their control. It's up to one person's opinion. And that's what's, you try to tap into just how stressful of a time it is, just what they do off the court to try to alleviate that stress. So we're trying to capture the holistic approach of what the pre-draft experience is from an agent perspective, a trainer, a strength and conditioning coach, and certainly the athlete and the athlete's family. So we're trying to get kind of this collection of thoughts behind what really makes the pre-draft process go.
Just to talk a little bit about your clientele, with Kyrie Irving, can you tell us a little bit about how he approaches his workouts off season or whenever it is, just because he is such a high level of his profession and so skilled. I'm just curious about his approach to workouts.
With Kai specifically, there's a large focus on playing in the feel of the game. And, he's at this point in his career, he's a basketball savant. Like, I don't consider him a player. There's very few people that have the level of artistry he does on the offensive end. So for me to come in and say, all right, Kyrie, we're going to work on this move today, it makes no sense. Like what we try to focus on is the little details within a shot or just the spots he's getting on the floor to make sure he's comfortable there, and him getting the reps in that he wants to get in. So there's days where we may just strictly focus on playing, and there's days that we may just focus on a shot. So it's a little bit different in that sense. But, he knows what he needs to do to make sure he's in the best spot possible, for when training camps show up and then also when the playoffs come. So that's the biggest focus for him right now is how can he be in a spot to help his team win a championship.
I remember we talked when Carmelo Anthony had signed with Portland initially, and he went through kind of a boot camp with you to get ready because he hadn't played in so long. That boot camp, could you tell then that he could still do what he's been able to do the last couple of years in the league?
Yeah, I think, and again, when I met him was when he was out of the league. So I didn't know Carmelo before. We had no personal relationship. So I was stepping into a situation where I was unknown of what to even expect of what we were going to get out of him. So I was a little bit, maybe not so surprised, but it was so different to hear the media and everything that had gone around portraying Carmelo as this or that when it came to a team player accepting of a role or trying to adapt to the new age of the NBA. And then getting to witness who he was as a person and hear him talk about his willingness to step into a role, his willingness to come off the bench, to really do whatever it took to get back in the NBA and earn that opportunity again. And in, you know, every single workout, it's the same. It's consistent. He doesn't show up with a huge group of people. There's no distractions. He comes in, he gets his work, and he's a grown man. You know, he has a family, and you can tell just how he approaches his workouts is so mature. And I'm not, you know, I wasn't surprised, and that's why I was I was trying to advocate as much as I could for him when he was out of the league, because I was watching it every single day with my eyes. And you know, it's one thing to hear it from him, but you know, when he was showing up and trying to help mentor the younger kids that I was even working out, that he wasn't a teammate to him, he was just there to help. So just to do that when he wasn't even paid to do it by a team, it showed me he was willing to step in and accept whatever role was given to him.
Control the Narrative, a Carmelo-focused podcast, a media network, they put up a billboard in Times Square making their pitch for Carmelo to return to the Knicks. And I'm sure some Knicks fans want me to ask you, have you seen it? Have you shown it to Carmelo? Can you get it in front of him? I'm sure that's what some fans will want to know.
I've learned this. I will never speak for one of my athletes.
Of course.
You know, selfishly as a fan, I would love to see Melo back in the Garden in whatever capacity it looks like. But you know that we're still so early in the offseason that Melo's going to ultimately make a decision that's best for him. What I'm just most happy to is I get to be a part of that journey wherever it ends up. So we'll see what happens, but you're not going to get any clickbait out of me today. So I'm on record saying I have no idea. We'll see what happens.
Trae Young, you've been working with him since he was in high school. Did you see this coming, what he was able to do in the postseason? And also, how do you think he handled the atmosphere at the Garden?
It's hard to say. Yes, I expect Trae Young to even step into OU and did what he did. Like no one could have expected something like that. And then to hit the ground running the way he did in Atlanta. I think the biggest testament to Trae is he's the ultimate gamer. You know, he loves challenges. He loves being in the spotlight. I think the best thing that happened for him was the Garden opening up with fans. I think that added a lot to him and his swagger of what he already does. I did tell him, I said, listen, you know, it's great that you're having fun and he's talking a lot, but I'm like, I still have to live in New York. So let's just tone it down a little bit. But he was just having fun, and that's who Trae is. Yeah, he loves playing in the Garden. He has nothing but respect for the Knicks and their fans. But it was just something that to do that in his first postseason, it was just kind of a proud moment for me to witness.
Alex, we really appreciate the time. Looking forward to seeing through the lens and how it develops, and definitely checking out the journey. And thanks for jumping on with us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ian.